This first start at 30 years old, Taysom Hill. Was Sean Payton right to start Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston? I'm going to start with you, Riv.
I think the easy answer would be yes because they caught the win. But at the same time, I feel like either quarterback would have succeeded regardless, just because of the simple fact of how good the Saints are offensively. Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Alvin Kamara, that offensive line, and that defense. And on top of that, they played the Falcons. So I'm not going to put – I want to see them play against a good team and see where Taysom Hill's at. I still think Jameis Winston is the obvious better talent. I think going forward, he's probably going to be the guy. But I do think and the players wanted Jameis Winston to start too. They felt like he should have started. But I do think at the moment, at the time, since the result was a W and Taysom Hill did play well, that it was the right move for Sean Payton.
I disagree with that. I was high on Jameis, and I still am, but I'm not sure about his future with the Saints. I'm sure about Taysom Hill's future with the Saints as quarterback and as the gadget player they've been using him as so far. I mean, watching Taysom Hill, I was very impressed with him. He had one mistake in the game. It was a red zone interception in the first quarter, and then he had a fumble late in the fourth quarter off like a power run. But he was the obvious right choice to start, and Sean Payton was right about it. I mean, this is a guy that he has a cannon for an arm. He threw a 50-yard pass to Emmanuel Sanders that should have been a touchdown that got called back. But it was a hell of a throw, and I was like, wow, I didn't know Taysom could do that. And he showed me he can throw. He was making quick decisions in a short passing game. It seems like Michael Thomas is always open for them. Every single time there was a play, I was like, Thomas is going to be open, and he had yards of space. I mean, like nobody was near him.
And this was his best game of the season. And granted, he hasn't played the whole year. He's played games with Drew Brees, and he has not put up these numbers this year. So I thought that was a good sign for the Saints. I thought it was interesting because it's funny, Jameis Winston, from the time Drew Brees was considered out, was the most added player in fantasy football on ESPN over the past week. It was just a given. We had a topic on what Jameis Winston would be as the Saints quarterback, but when you look at it, it was an interesting decision. The Saints players, like Riv said, at least were split on it, according to reports. But he had a solid game, 18 of 23, 233 yards, and he ran for 51 more and 2 touchdowns. Granted, he had the fumble, he had the interception. One of the things that I was most impressed with, under pressure, he was 6 of 6 for 117 yards and 88.3 passing grade, which is a pickup from Drew Brees, who was only about 40% under pressure this season, which is crazy to me. I was super impressed with just how comfortable he was in the pocket. He hasn't been used as a quarterback since his college days, which was years ago. So I was really impressed by that. The only question that I would have moving forward is the same question that everybody has about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. He can do it when they're ahead, and they'll look unbeatable when they have a lead or in a tied game. But late, when you're trailing and you need to make a comeback, like 30% of his throws were beyond the first down marker, and that's down almost 7% from Drew Brees' 37% of throws past the first down marker. 12 of his 30 dropbacks were play action, and 5 more were screens. So when he needs to make the big play, can you count on him to do it? I don't know if that's going to be a concern because the Saints' defense is so good, and we don't know when Drew Brees is coming back. So is this going to be their long-term guy? There's so many questions. But my only big question coming out of this week would be, can you rely on him to win you a game from behind?
My biggest question with Taysom is not that. My biggest question with Taysom is his instincts as a quarterback and his pocket awareness. Because it seems like too many times when I was watching that, Taysom Hill, when he would sense pressure and he would start to scramble, instead of throwing it away or instead of maybe going out of bounds if he, has an open lane, he will try to find any and every way to get a positive gain on the play. And that's kind of his running back kind of tight end instincts coming into play. But there were some times where I was just like, why are you running into that? You're losing yards. Just throw it away. Just throw it away. That's my question with him. There's a lot of people that are talking about how he's 30 years old. He's too old. I don't buy into that. I don't buy into that because Steve Young's first 6 seasons, he went 10-19 as a starter.
No way you just said Steve Young.
Taysom Hill is 30 years old. Young didn't start all 16 games for the 49ers until he was 31. And he started 10 when he was 30 for the 49ers. 30 years old. Kurt Warner, at 28 years old, he was the full-time starter for the Rams. And you can laugh about it all you want, but if I would have told you a 27-year-old working at a grocery store was going to be a Super Bowl champion with the Rams, you would have been laughing too.
The funny thing is, and I don't know if you took it from this, but in the past few years, Sean Payton has compared Taysom Hill to Steve Young.
That's why I used him, but there's quarterbacks that are like Kurt Warner, Steve Young, who have started late in their career. Steve Young didn't start all 16 until he was 31 years old. People now would have ruled him out. This isn't basketball where your prime as a player is 28 to 32 and you're washed up.
Especially as a quarterback.
Yep. As a quarterback in the NFL, you can play until you're 38, until you're 40. Taysom Hill, this could just be the beginning of his career, and he can have a good 8 years if he starts with the Saints. And I saw enough from him that, yeah, I could start him because Jameis, he might be a better thrower of the football when, you're throwing long passes because he's not that good at like short intermediate throws. But in terms of a weapon, Taysom Hill by far makes the Saints offense more dynamic because you can run power runs in the end zone. He can escape the pocket. He can run. There's just so much more you have to account for with Taysom Hill than with Jameis Winston.
Yeah, and one of the best things in Taysom Hill's favor, I think, is you look at the landscape of the NFL right now and who are becoming the stars. Patrick Mahomes is on a different level, but he can run the football. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, all these Kyler Murray, all these young quarterbacks coming into the NFL can run the football too. And if you can't, you're almost ostracized for it. Like, think of the best quarterback recruits in the country. All of them can also get out of the pocket and make a play with their legs, and Taysom Hill obviously can do that because he's been playing gadget for the last however many years with the Saints. So I think that that's a positive for him, and like you said, he can play for a while. He's in a great offense with Sean Payton, who is an offensive mastermind. And for now, where we don't know what he is making plays downfield, he has Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, who are the two best short game weapons in football.
There.
Yeah,
they're going to be there.
They're both locked up long term there. So for the next 4 or 5 years, you're going to have those two short game weapons with Taysom Hill. He can develop his game downfield while having easy, quick routes that he can hit, and he hit them efficiently on Sunday. Granted, it wasn't against the best defense in the Falcons. They've looked better since firing Dan Quinn, so they're no slouch anymore, I don't think.
And next game, they're facing the Broncos, who kind of put on a defensive show against the Dolphins, but who knows what they're going to do against the Saints. I mean, if you're over there, you sound like you're really hesitant on Taysom Hill. I want to hear what you got to say.
I'm just not going to overreact to a game against the Falcons. I want to see. I don't want to. I get what you were saying because obviously nobody thought Steve Young was going to be that, Kurt Warner was going to be that, but I don't want to overreact to a game against the Falcons. I want to wait till he plays, the Chiefs. Then I want to wait a couple more games. It's just too early to say, oh, I feel like he can do this. I feel like he can do that. I think it was a good game. It was a nice game, but I don't want to overreact to one game.
Oh, I'm not saying he'll be that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I don't want to say.
I'm just saying his age shouldn't be.
Oh no, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
because didn't Ryan Tannehill just have his bloom at like 30 years old?
I mean, that's true, but I think he was always a good quarterback.
No, but I'm just saying they just started really realizing Ryan Tannehill at 30. I'm not saying his age. I agree with you on that part. I'm saying I don't think this game should tell you, oh yeah, this is going to be the guy moving forward. I still think Jameis Winston has a chance to flip that narrative, and Taysom Hill has a chance to lose that narrative in the next couple games.
The one thing that I think is very clear is I questioned when he named Taysom Hill the starter, but there was obviously a reason for it. Taysom Hill knows that offense inside and out, and he fits it, much better, I think, than Jameis Winston. We were talking about it in our show last week. Jameis is not a perfect fit for that Saints offense, and I think that maybe that might have been the problem for Sean Payton, is he knows that Taysom Hill was going to come out, run the offense the way he wanted it to be run, and he could trust him more with it. And it'll be interesting moving forward to see how he performs, but I was pleasantly surprised with the way he played.
Hey, what's up, guys? You just finished watching a clip of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran.
My name is Jack Barteck.
And my name is River Brown.
And we are your hosts for this podcast. We want to thank you guys for watching the clip. Like, subscribe, and comment, and share if you would care to, because it helps us grow. And we're trying to make this a full-time thing. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting, and see you next time.